So a very fine good afternoon. So today we will discuss about CRUD operation. All are more familiar about the word which will be called as CRUD, CRUD. So that will be termed as create, read, update and delete activity. So basic database activity. So create, so insert a value into a table, then read the value from a table, update the table, then delete the table. So it's a basic CRUD activity. So this will be termed as basic CRUD activity. Then next we are entering into always the data transmission between and React as well as your servlet as database, which will be transmitted via a lightweight tool which will be called as JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. Then currently we are developing only API creation, database creation. So for API creation we are using Servlet. So the API was tested via the software which is called as Postman. So Postman is a software which used to test our API. So a small agenda. So start from Servlet database connection, then CRUD activity, JSON, Postman and Maven. So CRUD activity. So first one for CRUD operation create, so which uses insert query. Then retrieve for read operation uses select query. Then update or modify, update query. Then delete or destroy, delete query. So these kind of operations to a table which will be called as CRUD activity. So CRUD, CRUD activity. So the second one, JSON. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's a lightweight format for storing and transporting data. JSON is a lightweight format for storing and transporting data. So JSON is often used for when a data is sent from a server or to a web page. So JSON is self-describing and easy to understand. So this is a simple JSON example. So JSON data which is represented inside curly braces. So for example, curly brace open, then close. Inside that, employees colon. So we choose to display list of employees, square bracket, close the square bracket. Inside that, first name colon John, last name, first name and last name, first name as well as last name. So this is a simple JSON format representation. So last one, which is called as Postman, it's a software which used to test our API. Whatever API we are created in Servlet, it is tested via Postman software. So Postman is an API platform for building and using API. It simplifies each step of API lifecycle. So it streamlines everything. Then at last, a Maven. Apache Maven is a software project management as well as comprehension tool. So the file which will be saved in extension .pom, that will be called as project object model. Project object model, which used to manage a project build as well as reporting and documentation. Which used to manage a project build, report and documentation. It's comprising of central piece of information. So this is a small overview of today's session. Now we are opening our Eclipse IDE. So initially I will open my PG admin. So I will create a table. So I will open PG admin and then type my master password, that is Postgres, and press OK. Now already my database was connected. Login. Now I will create another database. So tool, query tool. I will create a new database which is named as employee. So create database EMP. I have created a new database, then execute. So yes, a query returned successfully. So database was installed. So refresh here. So a employee database was displayed. So just expand it. Now click on employee database and then type a query, create a new table. So I have created a table, create table table named as employee, employee. Inside that I have empid, empid as integer, empid as integer, then comma emp name varchar of 50, employee name, comma employee email ID varchar of 50. So totally I have three fields. One which will be called as employee ID as integer, the second one which is called as employee name varchar of 50, third one email ID varchar of 50. Now I execute that query. Table was created successfully. For insert a value, now I will insert a value into the same table employee. So insert into employee values. Inside that, the first field is integer, so 1. The second field is name, that is Raja. Then third field is email ID, that is raja@gmail.com. Now I execute that query. Now what value is inserted into my table. Now I have changed into second one to something name as Kesava, then mail ID as kesava@gmail.com. Now I execute the query again. So two values are inserted. Now I will place a select query. So select star from employee. Execute that query. Query was executed and display which comprising of ID1 raja@gmail.com, ID2 kesava@gmail.com. So the values are placed into table. Now database was ready. Database named as EMP, inside the table named as employee. Fine. Now I will open my Eclipse IDE. So file, new, dynamic web project. My project which will be named as employee management system. I will create a project which will be named as employee management system. Then next, okay, next generate web.xml file, finish. So yes, a new project which is created in the name of employee management system. Everything was ready. Now inside that, I will create a new class. For view employee details. So the class which will be named as view employee. So employee, view employee, viewing employee detail. I write a class named as view employee. Then finish. So a new class was created in the same way. Now I will add a servlet. So extends http servlet, control space for fine. Now for read the data, so I will use do get method. So do get, yes, everything was fine in the same way. Now I will hide it. Then similar way, I will write a database connection. So last class we will discuss about database connectivity. So same way here also we will write a database connection. So for database connectivity, we will create a string db name. We will create a string db name which is equal to adbc colon postgresql colon / localhost colon, the port number of Postgres database is 5432 / my database name is emp. Now double quotes and then semicolon. So db name was fine. Now string db driver which is equal to org dot postgresql dot driver. So we will add the driver. This is the default driver for Postgres database. Now the username of Postgres database string username, which is equal to Postgres. So now string password, which is equal to Postgres. So now database user ID password was provided. Now inside try and catch block, we will write a database connectivity. So normal procedure, normal Java database connectivity procedure. So class dot for name, class dot for name. Then we will provide DB, not DB name, DB driver. So class dot for name, DB driver. Then we will establish a connection. So connection. So it's under java.sql. So connection con, which is equal something called as driver manager. Driver manager is a class. Driver manager dot get connection of, we will pass the arguments of DB name, comma, the second argument as username, comma, the third argument as password. So you'll create a connection. After creating connection, we will create a statement. Statement so st equal connection dot create statement of its method. So now statement was ready. Now we will create a SQL query. So string SQL, which is equal to string SQL, which is equal to select star from table named as employee. So query was written in a variable named as SQL. Now you will create a result set. Now you will create a result set rs equal to statement dot execute query of the query SQL. So now query was executed. Now you will create while rs dot next of. So which will return the data rs dot next of. So I will create a print writer out equal response dot get writer of. So here I will print out dot println of rs dot get int of id. I think emp id. Emp id is the first field. Then out dot println of double quotes rs dot get string of double quotes, we will place emp name. Now the next one, out dot println of rs dot get string of email. So everything was ready. So it will print that. It will print the result. So now I have saved my file. So file named as employee. Okay, everything was fine. Now I will open my web.xml file. Web.xml file. So here I will add a mapping servlet, then servlet name. The name of the servlets as something called as view employee. So view employee. Then servlet class hyphen class, then which is named as view employee. So I will create a servlet. Now same way we will do a servlet mapping. Servlet mapping. Inside that I will add the same name, servlet hyphen name. Then name as view employee, and then URL pattern, then which is add as a slash view employee. Now the web.xml file was ready. Now I will convert my project because it depends on Postgres database. So convert my project into Maven. So go to right click on project, go to configure and convert to Maven project. Finish. So dependency was installing. So everything was POM file, x.xml file, which is open at the bottom. So inside POM.xml file, I will add the dependency that will be called as dependencies. So inside dependencies, I will add a new dependency. So I will Google it, Postgres Maven. Postgres Maven dependency, yes. I will click on the first website. So click on this directory, 42.3.1. So click on this. So the dependency path which will be displayed here. So just copy the content and paste it inside pom.xml file. After saving that, dependency was installing, building. After that, you can verify under Maven dependencies, postgres.jar file was added. Now everything works fine. So right click on your project and run on web server. So choose the web server and next and then finish. So now which will open like this, view employee, yes, press enter. Sorry, here you can verify my file which is saved, my database not in employee, my database in login. So no data was present. So I will change my database name. My table was stored inside login. I hope so. Run on server. Yes, which returns the data. So 1, Raja at gmail.com, 2, Kesava at gmail.com, which displays the entire data. So now I will convert this link which is called as API. This link which will be called as API. So API, we are calling this API, this application programming interface, this link which return a data from our database. So which connected to web server and connected to database server and retrieves the data. So this link which will be called as API link. This link which will be named as API link. Now I will open my Eclipse IDE. So inside that I will open my code. Now I will convert my program, my output into JSON data. So convert my output into JSON data. So I will create two variables. One which will be called as JSON array. Sorry, this dependency was not available. So it's displaying a error message. So I will Google it. JSON Maven dependency. So JSON Maven dependency. I can click on the first link. So I will copy the dependency. So JSON, JavaScript object notation, which need a different dependency. So I will copy and paste it inside my POM file. Now save my file. So dependency was installed. Now I will Maven dependency, expand this, a new file which is added json.jar. Now I will open my view employee. Here I will type JSON array, press Control space bar. Now it's displayed. Enter. I will create a JSON array. named as data, which is equal to new JSON array of. Yes, similar way, I will create a JSON object, something called as row, which is equal to new JSON object. So I have added a JSON array as well as JSON object. Now I have put my data into JSON array. So I will comment these lines. So I will comment this line. Now I will put my JSON is JSON object which is saved in the name row. So row dot put of something called as the statement that is called as employee EMP ID, any name. You can give any name, EMP ID, comma, we choose to display rs dot get int of EMP ID. So display employee ID colon 1 like this. Employee ID colon 1 like this. So row, that's the JSON format. JSON dot put, second one, EMP name, comma, rs dot get string of EMP name. So it's the second one. The third one, row dot put of email, comma, rs dot get string of email. So we choose to display these data like this. So now your entire row was ready. So the row data which is put into array. So data dot put the data row. So each and every row which put into array. So the array which comprising of the entire employee ID, entire data. So just I have print out dot print ln of data. So entire thing was ready. Now the object was converted into JSON object which returns the data. Now I will execute my file, run as, run on server, localhost, tomcat, next and finish. Restart the server. So the name which is called as view employee, enter. So which is a JSON format. So entire data which displayed in JSON format. Entire data which displayed in JSON format. Employee name colon Kesava, employee ID colon employee ID colon 2. 2 was repeated for twice. Why? So I think I have printed it here. This is the array data. So I have printed it here. So now I will execute the same. Run as, run on server, tomcat, next, finish, restart the server. So view employee, enter. So yes, so entire data was displayed. So this is a basic procedure for creating a simple database connectivity with the help of Maven repository, Postgres database, and then converting the data into a JSON format. So now I will download a Postman. I will download a Postman software. This is a software we choose to verify the API. So just download Postman API. Click on products. Download the desktop icon for Windows. So you can download the software. So download the Postman platform. So download for Windows 64-bit. So click here to download. So Postman software, the size was 151 MB. The download is in progress. Backend engineer. Now I am installing Postman. So just double click on that icon. So after installing, just click on the Postman. Automatically it will install. So now I will verify my link. Just I will click on my servlet Eclipse and then verify whether my link is working properly or not. So I will copy paste my link in my browser for verification. Sorry, I will copy the entire link and paste it in the browser. I think 2 times array was printed. Sorry, this is wrong. Actually, 1 time is required. So you can print the array. First time, first data only printed. Second time, first and second data are printed. So you will print it after while loop. So then only 1 time data was printed. So entire data. Just save your file and then refresh the browser. I will execute it again. Right click, run as. Anyway, it's executed. So no problem, automatically refreshed. So yes, now it's correct. So employee ID 2. I think ID was Kesavaraja was printed 2 times. Not the first data was printed. Sorry. Here, the row was not initialized. Because of that, same data was printed. So I will initialize row here. Then it works fine. I hope so. Then it works fine. So now I will execute that same. I hope now it was fine. So because the row object was holding a previous data too. So now I will restart that. I hope it works fine. So now after that, we will refresh your screen. Yes, the first data was displayed and second data was displayed. Yes, good. So now it's fine. So view employee. Yes, it works fine. So employee ID 1 as well as employee ID 2. Now I will copy my address and paste it in the Postman. So it's free, completely free. So skip and go to the app. If needed, you can Gmail account, you can sign in. Now it's not required. Skip and go to the app. So it's a API app, Postman. I will directly click on API. I will directly click on API and plus symbol, create new API. So now I will paste my link and send. So API was tested. So API was tested. Yes, fine. Everything works fine. So API was tested here. So everything works good. But if you create a post method of passing a value, so passing a value. So if get method in the sense passing value via address bar was possible. If post method in the sense you can pass the value via this key and value path. This key and value path. Okay. This is a basic way of using a Postman software for reading a API.